If it's Tuesday, that means it's time for the Comic Book School live show, because at Comic Book School, we own Tuesdays, and today is Tuesday, July 12th. Let me pull this graphic off. There you go. Tuesday, July 12th. If you are a first-time creator hoping to break into comics, a rising talent looking to level up, or a well-seasoned pro like me, we welcome you to Comic Book School, where we talk about the craft and business of making comics. My name is Buddy Scalera, and I'm the founder of Comic Book School, a place where people can go to learn about the craft and business of making comics. No matter what that means today in today's evolving marketplace. I'm also a comic book writer and a publisher with nearly 30 years. You wouldn't know it by looking at me. 30 years in the comic book business. And tonight, I am joined by the Emmy Award-winning, robe-wearing Mike Fasolo, straight out of California. How you doing tonight, Mike?
Doing good, bud. That was a great intro.
It was, yeah, it wasn't
I
bad.
liked a little bit of the ad lib in there. It was nice.
Yeah, I have some let lib in my ad, and sometimes I don't even read the script.
Yeah.
I do better when I don't read the script.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You should just get a general idea of what you want to say, and then just be buddy.
Do it from the heart. And so, Mike, speaking of from the heart, our hearts belong, of course, to Star Wars. We are both children of Star Wars. I lied once during a. I'm gonna tell how I lied to an audience once. Someone once said, which was the best Star Wars movie? And I said, oh, it was the second one, because it was technically the best produced. It was, best story structure.
Well, yeah,
but really nothing grabbed my heart emotionally like the first Star Wars. So I come now nearly 20 something years later to admit that I only
was
once.
A lie.
I only lied once, and my nose is not growing. Actually, J.K. Kalinowski's on the show in part because he knows I'm going to be talking about him today.
All right, J.K. Kalinowski.
J.K. Kalinowski. Mike, what's the best Star Wars? And I know
the best Star Wars is the second one.
Phantom Menace.
Really? Yes. No. The Empire Strikes Back.
Aren't you technically friends with someone who is a star in Star Wars?
Yes, Ahmed Best. He was in the.
Yeah, he played a pretty big important role, right?
He did. He was Jar Jar Binks. Yes.
Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Nice guy. Yes. It's tough.
Poor guy.
Tough on him. But now it's
that'll be on his tombstone.
It's actually coming back to be good now, because the kids who grew up watching Phantom Menace and all those other ones that all of us didn't like actually liked Jar Jar, and now they're all like, we love Jar Jar. I don't know what anybody thought was wrong with them.
Lucas intended Star Wars to be for younger viewers, and Jar Jar Binks is my favorite Star Wars was Clerks too. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Well, we're doing a Star Wars episode today, and we are going to be including a conversation about how Marvel Comics helped launch Star Wars and how Star Wars helped save Marvel Comics. Did you know all of these things, Mike, before the show?
Before this afternoon when you sent me that article? No, I didn't.
You actually prepped a little bit tonight, right?
I did. You told me to read something, and I did.
Yeah. You got a lull tonight, Mike?
Yeah. Lull.
You got a lull.
Lots of love.
So, Mike, as part of Comic Book School, we talk about the craft and the business of making comics, and it's really important to talk about the business of marketing. And there you go. There's your first robe joke. May the robe be with you. It is a sporting robe, isn't it, Mike?
It is. It
nice. Looks warm.
It is. I guess you're getting a little hot. I might have to take it off in a bit.
All right, that sounds good. So it's 1977, Mike. Officially, the very first blockbuster was Jaws. The first summer blockbuster was Jaws, and literally the term came from lines wrapping around the block. Blockbuster, and rightfully so. 1975, Jaws, Steven Spielberg's debut. Brilliant movie. Can still watch it. Pick it up at any point and just watch it. Great movie.
Do you know the name of the shark? Just as a trivia question.
No, what was the name of the shark?
Bruce.
Oh, Bruce. J.K. Kalinowski would have known that. But he's not paying attention anymore.
Yeah, thanks
a
lot,
He's waiting for me to say his name again. So J.K. Kalinowski. So Yes, so Bruce was the box office smash, and then I forget was 1976, but in 1977, science fiction movies, particularly science fiction movies that had a scruffy look to it, battleships were worn, looked like they had been in battle. This was not something that brought people into the theaters, right, Mike?
No, nobody wanted to see that stuff because the
No,
shark was
nobody
on
did,
screen.
and at that point, Australian is Bruce an Australian name?
Perhaps
Perhaps.
named after
Named
Spielberg's
after
lawyer.
Spielberg's lawyer. Well, now that's a bit of trivia that I needed.
Is that true though?
I don't know whether or not it is or isn't. I know that one of our viewers will probably take that
I will
ball and run
probably
with
start
it.
telling everybody.
Probably be Ruth. So, 1977 science fiction was not exactly a draw at the box office, Mike.
No.
And the producers, including Lucas, had an idea about merchandising the toys and merchandising with comic books. That was their target audience at that point, were kids that read comic books and enjoyed toys. So Lucas struck a deal. Most famously, they were turned down by the Mego company that made the Mego action figures, my beloved action figures, the Megos. And then they actually worked with a publisher called Marvel Comics. Some of you may have heard of them.
Haven't heard of them before.
But what happened was, Mike, was Stan Lee, when he first heard about this, I'm trying to move the camera a little bit. There you go. When Stan Lee heard about Star Wars, he wasn't actually interested. He passed on the deal. Isn't that right?
He did. That's in the article you sent me.
Yeah.
He's
So
like,
what
"No."
happened was the lawyer then took a slightly different angle and approached Roy Thomas, who was at that point one of the editors, or maybe the editor-in-chief at Marvel. He was writing some other licensed properties. Conan was a licensed property from Robert E. Howard. They were doing a great job with it. And they approached Marvel and said, would you like to do a Star Wars comic? And Stan had said no, but Roy Thomas was intrigued. The main character was, you saw it in the article, Luke Starkiller.
Starkiller, yes, that was his original name.
That was the original name. And even at that time, the characters looked differently. Darth Vader only had a minimal role in the film, and there was something about it that Roy Thomas thought was interesting and exciting. So he agreed to take on the comic book. Now, Marvel was at this point experiencing a rather large drop in market share. Their superhero comics weren't doing well. Actually, nothing was doing well for them, and they were not looking at a very favorable future. So Roy Thomas was willing to try almost anything to keep the company in the publishing business, and took on the Star Wars comics. And he assigned Howard Chaykin, who is a well-known comic book creator. We actually took Howard Chaykin's class on storytelling. Most of the comic book school students did. And at the point when they were publishing the comic book, they only had some stills from the movie before the backgrounds were on. So they had to kind of guess what the cantina looked like and those characters. And they didn't know what the battle scenes looked like. So they had to take a pretty good guess. And then they didn't even have a complete script because the script was going through constant changes. So to compound it, Mike, they made it a little bit even more difficult, because at the point when they were starting to do the comics, the movie was almost coming out. They barely had enough time. They managed to get out only 3 issues, and they planned it as a 6-issue story arc. Is going to be finite, beginning, middle, and end. But something happened. When they got the 3 issues out, people like us were reading our Marvel comics. They had a little 25-cent cover price, and we're reading our first issue, and it was good. And then the second issue got even better. And then the third issue, then the movie hit the theaters. So you had a whole bunch of people who could not resolve those 3 issues. They had to go to the movie theater.
Got to see it. Got to see what happens.
And I contend, Mike, that potentially this might have been that tipping point in the early Star Wars movies for ticket sales, because there were a lot of kids who were our age. It was 1977. We were kids at the time that, well, actually, you were probably in your 20s at that point, but
yeah, I had the beard.
You had a beard. You were 10. So I think what really shows that they were thinking ahead and just had some good luck was the fact that they didn't have enough time to get all 6 issues out, and that the kids were like, I got to go see how this movie ends. And they didn't want to wait 3 more months
Well,
for those issues.
why would you want to?
Right. I find this to be a fascinating bit of trivia. What do you think about that?
I think it's very interesting because I never knew that the comics actually came out before the movie. I always thought that the movie had done its its magic, and then they were like, oh well, let's get some comics out and make some more money. So, yeah.
So what ended up happening was the original Star Wars #1 became a sought-after collectible during that first 6-issue run. So by the time issue 4 is coming out, people are seeking out issue #1. At that point, there's really no back issue market. People are dashing to the neighborhood deli and stores, right? The spinner racks, and trying to buy those back issues, and they're all bent up. And then as 5 comes out, now the movie's been out for a couple months, let's just say the entire summer. More people are catching the movie, more people are reading the comics. The people that are reading the comics want to see how the movie ends. People who see the movie want to see how the comic book goes because, right, we didn't have as much media.
Yeah, there was nothing. No media at all.
There wasn't media, right? Like there was no comic book adaptation there were comic book adaptations. They did adaptations of everything, but there was nothing quite like this. This was an original property that just completely blew people away. And when this first issue hit the stands, it looked exactly like the comic book that you wanted to buy. Oh, I said 25 cents. It's a 30-cent cover price.
Oh, I wouldn't have bought that. That was too expensive.
Did you have this?
I did not. I think I may have had 1 or 2 of a Star Wars comic, but it wasn't in the first 6. No.
I've never noticed this, but Darth Vader's helmet is green.
Yeah.
Green. Now,
He was originally going to be a frog, and
was
then
he?
No, he wasn't a frog.
So anyway, much of this was published in a back issue of FOOM magazine, which came out literally 1 year after the movie. So when 77, the movie comes out, 78, Marvel's putting out their own fanzine. Do you know what FOOM stands for?
Something Marvel.
That's pretty good. That's exactly right. No, the title stood for Friends of Old Marvel.
Mm.
Okay, so FOOM magazine comes out, and Roy Thomas articulates this complete story of how he converted this partial script and this information that he had from stills and his meeting with George Lucas into the first issue of Star Wars. They do 6 issues. What happens after that, Mike? After the 6 issues come out, let's just say the movie comes out in June. So the first April, May, June, July, August, September. Now what?
Well, everyone's going to be scrambling for the next set of comics.
That is absolutely correct. 100%.
What do I win?
Well, first, how many years were between the first and the second movie?
Oh, geez.
I looked it up because I didn't know, but I know
4?
that
3 or 4? I would guess. I don't know.
Anybody from our esteemed audience? Anybody from any audience? 1980. So it went from 77 to 80. So it was a 3-year gap. In which case, if you're doing the math, approximately they would get out 36 issues.
Yeah.
Right. Then they did the what was the second movie, Mike?
Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back.
The best one.
And then 3 years after that, which was
Return of the Jedi.
Originally titled
Revenge of the Jedi.
Wow, you are good.
I have my geek cred, yes.
But now let's think about this. In between the first movie and the second movie, Lucas goes behind the scenes. They're writing scripts, they're producing, they're doing all kinds of things. And look at the comments are popping up like crazy. Let's see what they're saying. 5-ish. You win a no prize. That's good. Kalinowski with his exacting 2.5 years. Glenn got it, nailed it. Glenn, and look at Vince, like giving Glenn the slap down. Vince, I'll just tell you that Glenn is 6'7". Do not. He says 3 years. It's 3 years. Just take it. The comments backed up a little bit there, Mike, because there were so many of them. But what happened was between the first movie and the second movie, Roy Thomas, Howard Chaykin, Walt Simonson, and lots of other famous Marvel creators put out 36 issues of Star Wars. Then Empire Strikes Back, they put that out as a 6-issue series. Then they had another 36 plus certain annuals. And then the final movie, Return of the Jedi, including the original magazines, Treasury editions. Remember the big Treasury editions at 11 by 17, right? They were just pounding these things out. So as Marvel is struggling to stay afloat as a company, one of the major flotation devices is the Star Wars films. And Marvel just lucked out at the time to hit the right property at the right time. They ran how many issues did they run, Mike?
108.
Close, 107. That was good. I was curious how close you'd come. You had a 1 in 10 chance. So Ruth wants to know if we've talked about Jackson the rabbit yet. Don't you remember they had a giant bunny? Jackson?
No.
Jax the bunny. They invented a character, which, of course, in a world of Wookiees, Ewoks, Jar Jar Binks, they were like, a giant bunny? That's ridiculous. Ruth noted.
Big green bunny. Is that real?
Yeah, it is. I wish someone would put it into the show notes, Ruth.
If only someone had done some research and gotten a picture of it.
No, I know about Jackson. I just didn't care enough to pull it up. I just didn't matter. But here's what happened, Mike, and it was a sad thing. Marvel lost the license. It went over to Dark Horse, who launched with Dark Empire, right? And then they did a good 20 years of Dark Horse Comics. Now it's back over at Marvel, which is owned by Disney. Disney owns Star Wars. Disney owns Marvel. So now
they're everything.
They're one big happy family brought together. So all of this is brought together once again under one roof. But the sad thing, Mike, 107 issues. Lucas declared it non-canon. Can you believe?
How dare he?
Yes.
He didn't like Jackson. That was the problem.
Here I am loving these books. And then they said, no, it's not part of the official Star Wars canon.
Yeah, but that official Star Wars canon changes constantly.
Well,
so
the
one day Lucas can just go, it's canon again.
Yeah, well, maybe they will now that they're under Disney. But here's the thing, Mike. The comics, big part of the success of Star Wars, and of course, the Star Wars, a big part of the success of Marvel. Now, nobody these days isn't aware that licensed television shows and licensed films can be a big boon.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like if you think about a character like Rom, which literally outlasted the toy by 10 years, or the Micronauts, who were a blip for like one Christmas season. And there you go. There's Glenn. Glenn he's in Disney shredded. Glenn's on fire today, man. Glenn, we got to slow your roll, man. But anyway, of course, all right, let's see. Ponce says, if episode 9 is canon, then I vote we all just abandon ship and reconsider the comics as canon again. I'm with you.
I'd have to read. I mean, I'm sure at least the first 6 are the ones they did with, in relation to the movies are the same as the movies. But in between, is it just kind of random space?
Well, number one, Philip, very pragmatic. I know Philip, he didn't raise his voice to say this. He just said, canon is what Disney says it is, though, right? It's sort of like the people like me who look at the new Mustang Electric as a 4-door hatchback, and we go, that's not a Mustang. But it is a Mustang, technically.
People who say it's a Mustang means it's a Mustang.
He concurs with Ponce. Google concur. What's that mean? That means he agrees, right?
I concur.
So anyway, there were Star Wars comics, there were Battlestar Galactica comics, there were all kinds of comics. There was nothing that really hit that perfect tickle spot like the Star Wars comics. And then, of course, the Star Wars toys, which I don't know if you can you see them behind me? They're not in the frame. There's my little Darth Vader head.
How come he's not green?
He's full of toys.
Can you get the old Star Wars comics anymore?
You can actually. Dark Horse got me into comics. New diet. Sorry guys, I will chill.
He's 6'7".
He's eating gunpowder. And then back to the denouement. Once again, Philip, we're going to have to Google all your words.
The denouement.
Denouement. Isn't that French for end the movie? Or the end after the end. It's French. I don't actually know what it means. But here's the thing. The ability for creators now to think about these comics, like we just take them for granted, but at one time, these were a big risk and daring, and of course, set the course for Star Wars and set the course for Marvel Comics. New Marvel Comics are actually pretty. They actually are a decent read. Mike, I don't know if you've ever read any of them. They're not bad.
The new Marvel ones?
Yeah. Today's
Star
episode
Wars?
is brought to you by the Webster's Dictionary. Agreed. Which apparently Philip Burnett keeps in his back pocket. We got Star Wars Marvel run was fantastic. The artwork was great. And there were a few story arcs that Lucas would have been proud of. I agree, Joe. We should go to the Skywalker Ranch. Has anybody here ever been to the Skywalker Ranch? Anybody who's wearing a what?
I may have been there once or twice.
You were there more than you got me a T-shirt.
I did.
I wore it once, and now it's literally. And I swear to God, I wore it once, and I never wore it again.
Why? It's a shirt. You're supposed to wear it.
It's a shirt that came from the Skywalker Ranch.
Yeah, well, you're welcome.
Mike, thank you. Mike, name drop. Why were you at the Skywalker Ranch?
We did a little thing called Star Wars or Robot Chicken Star Wars. So we all got called up to the ranch and had a viewing party there twice. We all got lightsabers. I have a lightsaber. If I had my closet near me, I'd pull it out and show you.
You only got one lightsaber?
Only got one, but we did go into the archives. I saw the Indiana Jones Ark of the Covenant. All the back stuff.
We got the best tie-in of the night.
Yes, we got the robe. Yes, I saw all the robes, saw all the costumes. It was great.
Yeah. So you were writing for Robot Chicken, which you still do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ruth wanted to know if you were actually invited.
Little of both.
Little of both.
They knew my name, but was I supposed to be where I was?
Is it a ranch?
Who can really say? Is it a ranch? It's huge. It's like 7,000 acres. It's
But
massive.
it's like with horses and stuff.
I didn't see any horses, but I know they do have cows that keep the grass all mowed. Yeah, they have a little lake called Ewok Lake.
Ewok Lake. They
have their own fire department. Jedi. They got everything.
Why is Mike Ponce think we're all in agreement that that's not a Jedi robe? Like why would he think like we're all going to agree to that? Mike
Ponce.
What?
Come on.
In my heart,
he's not even trying.
He is a black heart? Is that what is that? In my heart, he is heart?
He is dead.
He is dead. According to Robot Chicken, he is. Apparently, you're. Mike's like all depressed now. He rips off a good joke. He thinks we're gonna dive in. So, did you use Nerf herders for the cows?
Oh, that's a good one, Glenn.
He is. So
they.
I don't know why he had to asterisk his own comment, but anyway, Mike, just really name drop for a minute. Who did you see at the? I feel like that's a double entendre from Ruth.
It is.
It not?
She's good at those.
She is good at those.
Likes to throw them out. Likes to pull them out, I should say.
She does double entendre. I have to Google that because I don't know what entendre means. Oh, I was going to pull up a graphic for Ruth. But Ruth, you still haven't sent me a graphic. Ruth does a show right after our show called Com-Nation Trivia or Condemnation. So, Mike, name drop a little bit. Just make me feel jealous that all I got was a T-shirt.
George Lucas.
You saw the bearded one?
I did. We talked to him. Yeah, he's a nice guy.
There's disturbance in the ponds. Wait, so you actually you saw him?
I mingled with because Seth Green was there, obviously, for Robot Chicken.
Is he big? Is he small? Does he smell funny?
He's a normal looking guy. He always wears plaid. Got a plaid shirt on all the time. Got that beard.
Does he talk or is he just?
He talks. It's not much. He's a very quiet man. Very quiet. And
did you talk to him? Did he reply to you?
Yeah, of course. Hello, George, and he would say, "Oh, hello." you know, he has absolutely no idea who any of us were. It was just like he was surrounded by a bunch of nerds, and he's like, "Oh, okay," and he says hello. But yeah,
He said hello,
he did.
and the
Yes, he
Ponce
said
is
hello, and
like,
I touched him as well. Yes,
did you? Where?
on his hand.
Did you? Like,
I
show me
think
how.
I think Doug
No, show
gave
me
him
how
a
you
hug.
touched his hand.
Oh, like this.
Were you like, you shook his
Because I
hand?
shook his hand,
Did
yeah,
you?
and then
Did
I
you?
then I
You went
went
like
like
this?
this, and I
You
went
went like
like
this?
this.
You were like, and then after that, did you get a photo with him or anything?
Um, I think there was a group photo, but I can't be sure. It could just be something in my imagination. But yeah, we got to sit in his screening room and
Get out.
watch the show. Yeah.
What?
Then we
How?
got
What was that like?
it was a big screening room. It was fantastic. Well, not really big. It was big enough to hold all of us. There was I don't know how many people were there. 30,
Would I have
40?
fit? Because I'm fat.
You would have fit. Yes, they would have put you in the back, but you would have fit. Yeah.
Did
Did
he
you
have
have
a
a firm
firm
handshake?
handshake?
It was a normal handshake. Yeah, it wasn't like a fish handshake.
It wasn't like you had to take a knee.
Yeah. He's a nice guy. Very nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he let us wander around. We got to go into the archives. We saw a lot of stuff. It's good times.
Were you pretty psyched? Were you like, I can't wait for your work on Howard the Duck?
I did. Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that was the best part.
Howard the Duck, incidentally, J.K. Kalinowski, when I was heading off to Cleveland, Howard the Duck takes place in Cleveland. So my only view of Cleveland was from the Howard the Duck movie. It's nicer than the movie. It's nicer, I have to admit. So, okay. So, Mike, this was, I would consider a successful. Oh, wait, that's a good question.
Yes, it is. It's considered canon. George Lucas has said so.
It's like, I consider this canon. Did he like?
He considers it canon for Robot Chicken. Probably not Star Wars canon.
Yeah, not Star Wars canon. Yeah, Robot Chicken. I was hoping it lived up to. Cleveland. Well, Cleveland did. No, Cleveland was way better. I was pleasantly surprised, and we're going back again to Cleveland very soon. So anyway, Mike, this and more can yeah. I'm gonna actually show you guys something.
More is better
because I love you guys, right? I really do. I love you guys.
Who do you love the most, though?
Do I have to choose?
Of course. There's always a winner.
Yes. So I'm going to share screen, and I'm going to do this by looking at the correct thing over here.
Don't show your history.
No. I would never. That would be ridiculous. So on comicbookschool.com, Mike, comicbookschool.com.
Is that your website?
This is a website that I am known to work on. Is this article about tonight? But here's what I did, Mike. I recollected. Can you still see it?
Yep.
By the way, my friend J.K. Kalinowski designed this graphic, which I placed onto the Comic Book School graphic. There's an intro. There's a bit of the live stream. Oh, there's a sad face.
Oh, there's a sad picture.
Yeah. But this article unpacks with links all of the information that I've been talking about today. I rekeyed, and my lawyer would want you to know that I was able to do this under section number 107 of the Copyright Act. No coincidence that there was 107 issues of Star Wars. The complete recollection from FOOM magazine by Roy Thomas. I manually rekeyed it for you guys and cross-linked it, and also included an article that Joe J.K. Kalinowski and I co-wrote. And then a YouTube video where I talk into the camera. Look at me. I'm wearing a button-down shirt. My hair's combed.
What?
I know. We'll just leave it there. It's all cross-linked. And then an article that goes into greater detail about all of the different content and the backstory and the toys. This was co-authored by me and my pal J.K. Kalinowski. But let's take another look. Let's just.
Is J.K. in anywhere that we can see?
Here.
Well, but it always wasn't this way. Star Wars was, well, a movie. Before anything else, it was just a movie. Sure, there were a few.
You like that, Mike?
Are you reading?
Am I? Yes, I was.
It sounds like, come on,
Other
Bud, you
times,
got to
like
start doing
comics,
Bud.
but
Just be Bud. You're
Barely
reading.
works
It's just
when the brand is diluted over 10 or more channels.
you look like you're reading.
Broad an audience that really isn't that passionate.
I thought it looked pretty good. I was reading off of a teleprompter.
Well, I'm sure it's good, but it's not when you get up to do your talks at your conventions, are you reading? No, you're being bud.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Ruth is giving me some. This video may count. No. It was actually my copyright, so
do whatever I want with my copyright.
Fair use copyright materials provided in Section 107 of the U.S. Boy, Ruth's really on tonight. You know, Ruth hosts a trivia thing. Let me pull up a graphic that shows her show. Oh, wait, she hasn't given me one yet.
Oh, come on, Ruth.
It's only been a couple months.
It's like you're not even trying.
Right. She's going and finding like law sections of law.
She's got her law books out.
I can't be saved. Yeah, he does. I'm better with that when I don't use cue cards, Mike. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I think you should write out what you want to say, but it should just be in.
Wait, just look at Ruth coming down on herself.
You forgot the exclamation point to really make it stand out.
But you use it in shouty type. So you think I'm better when
I think you should just get a general idea of what you're saying and then just be bud. Kind of know what you're talking about. Just take little bullet points, but then the rest of the time, just kind of ad lib and off the top of your head.
I'm gonna try that. Maybe next episode I won't read off of the script.
Yeah, no, you should know. Well, I mean, you've read the script 100 times. You should know it by now.
All right, Mike. That's the end of our time together this week. Next week we will have. Yeah, see that?
Just be the bud. Exactly, Mike.
That's Mike. Mike gets it. Mike, you redeemed yourself.
Just be the
Philip
bud.
wanted to know if the music was better in Star Wars and Howard the Duck music was by I think Thomas Dolby, and actually the end credit song Howard the Duck is actually very catchy.
Howard the Duck. That's all they keep saying.
It is a very catchy. So look at there you go. Go Ruth. That's it. See, she got one, and then she's got another. And JK said it was a great chat, guys. Actually, this is his first time watching the show.
Will it be his last?
I think it might be. Anyway, Mike, next week we will have 2 editors from Mad Cave Comics. They are having open submissions, and they are looking for independent creators. And what we will do next week is talk with those editors who just joined this calendar year, ask them what they're looking for, the do's and don'ts of submitting to Mad Cave, and help our aspiring creators get in front of Mad Cave editors. What do you think?
Nice. That's exactly what you need to do.
That's right. And where can you? Yeah, I agree, Vince. It is fun times. Vince is, see, look, he even puts a smiley face. Mike, where can they find you on the internets?
Oh, I'm on Instagram and the Twitters. I don't really post much, but I'm there.
Instagram and the Twitters?
And the Twitters, yeah. That's about it.
And I hope everybody checks out the shows that are part of Our Friend Network, including Backer Paws. Rob Anderson, he does a, I think, nearly daily show now. If you subscribe to it, check out Rogue Wave with Hassan and Mike Dolce, good friends of the show as well. And certainly Ruth's show, which is Com-Nation on
If only there was a graphic.
Hold on, let me pull up the graphic, and there it is. There it is. Ruth, I think you need a graphic. So that's true. Be the bud you want to see in the world. Yeah. Vince's wife.
It's a sad face. What's the sad face for?
That's a sad face. We're going to see Vince at New York Comic Con this year. He's going to be coming down from a foreign country.
Canada.
They have a different word for everything.
Yeah.
Tough. I'm excited for that. You can find me at Buddy Scalera on all Twitter places, Comic Book School, and all those other fun things. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, and tell a friend or even an enemy. Mike, thank you so much once again for joining me on this epic achievement and show. Love you, pal. I will see you in a week.
Bye-bye. Hmm.